Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is Monday, and we have a brand new crypto week. Let's see what this week brings. I don't think anything special is going to happen this week. I think it's more or less just finding a bottom and building that base. Now, I think the bottom is most likely in. I don't think this low will break, but that doesn't mean it can't be retested, right? We talked about that. For example, you always want to look for a three wave move. So we came down, we shot up, and then we have an A, a B, and now we could come down for a C. Maybe it's finished now. Maybe we have to come down and retest 50% of that wick. We already tested it once, right? Boom, boom. We could do it again, right? And then I would be looking for a move back to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. Now, some charts have more wiggle room than others. Theta is a little bit on the weaker side, but that's okay. I mean, look, Theta had one of the biggest bull runs in 2021. XRP only went into a retracement, which means, the time that it took for XRP to correct was much longer than what we see with Theta, right? So Theta went up 50,000% and XRP went up not even a fraction of that. That's, so when you could say, well, why is XRP going up and it's strong and Theta is weak? And not just Theta, I'm talking about all the altcoins. Any altcoin that had a significant rally in 2021 is struggling right now, except for Bitcoin, of course. And even ADA is actually surprisingly doing well, probably because it's more of a sort of a five wave move here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as opposed to the three wave move in Theta. And yeah, we'll get to ADA in a minute, but let's go back to Theta and let's just observe and understand where we are. So I'm still bullish long term. I think we still have some work to do. But really, it's this zone right here. You see all of these cluster of candles right here? That tells me that that's a significant price area. And then if you stretch that and you keep stretching it further and further, you can see, especially like right in here, and really, really right in here, very significant areas, right? So, we broke this area. We came all the way back down and we were retesting it multiple times. Then we broke above it, right? We broke out. We came back to the swing high, and then we came all the way back down to retest it yet again. So I believe that is bullish. If we break the low, then obviously, it's not so bullish, right? But then again, I would be looking like, for example, you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A. This is the bearish scenario. I don't think this is the case, but we have 3 up. This is a B. And then you have 1, 2, 3. And then you flag out for a 4. And then you come down for a 5. There's your C. Now, where would that 5 wave land? Well, it's kind of hard to tell right now, but I'm not expecting a 5 wave move unless we get a 3 here. So, is it possible we could just come and swipe the low real fast? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be anything significant. We could continue to hold above $1. As long as we're above $1, I think we're doing pretty good. So another reason I think it's bullish is because if you look, I'm going to put side by side here. And we're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at this correction right here. So if you notice, let me actually take everything off the screen. And if we look at it like this, let me tone it down a little bit. All right, so it's a little different, but it's more or less the same, right? You have a pump to the upside, and then you basically pull back and then back to the top. Same thing here, come back to the top. So basically you have an A, B, C, right? It's a flat A, B, C, right? And that could be exactly what we're doing here. Remember, sentiment was in the gutter back over here. Everyone was calling for 10K Bitcoin back in September of, what was that, 22 or 23. Yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking we're probably doing something like this. Some type of three-wave move, right? Where we test the top twice and then we test the bottom twice. And basically we build a range. We're building a base here, right? And then we continue higher. And where is that base coming from? Well, if you notice, if we zoom out a little bit more here, it's coming right off the top, where it should come, right? So you see, obviously, here's the top right here. Here's the top. There's the bottom, right? You make that first move up, and then you go sideways. Same thing here. You make that first move up, and you go sideways. And then the trick here is build a little bit of a base down here. So that's what I'm saying. We probably have a few weeks, maybe even more than that, of, consolidation down here below, $1.50, between $1 and $1.50, and then you start breaking out. So that's what we want to see. We want to look for evidence that the low is in by building structure. And then once we start getting that retrace, then it kind of confirms what we think, right? And you can kind of see here we had like a 1 2 1 2, right? And if this is the case and the theory is right, then we should expect a massive wave, right? Look at this. 1 2 1 2. We have a big wave 3, a wave 4, and then a wave 5. Look at how big that thing is, right? So if we're right here, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, I mean, that could be a pretty significant move on the horizon coming up here for Theta. Now, it's not financial advice. I could be wrong. This is an idea. It's not necessarily what's going to happen, but I think it's more probable than, just completely melting down. So we'll see how it all plays out, but I'm more confident with XRP and a lot of the other ones that are exhibiting more strength right now. But that's more short term, medium term. But for Theta, still very bullish long term. So anyway, we cut it here. We got 3 waves up and we got 3 waves down. So the big question is when is this final wave finished, or is it finished? And that's what we're waiting for. So if we have a 1 2 3 4 and we break the low for a 5, then you know what, it is what it is, right? But at that point, it would really flush out everyone because sentiment's already in the gutter. Imagine taking the low again, it would really flush people out. And I think at that point it would be completely done because it's been long enough. I mean, if you look at where this was January of 2022, and we're sitting here January, February of 25. So it's been 3 years, over 3 years of essentially the same price, right? Now you know what it's like to be an XRP holder, right? So if you take this range right there, you're building your base. but I would really like the base more like this, you know? So, I'm kind of neutral at the moment. So let me zoom in here and let me show you a few other things. So for me to get bullish, extremely bullish, obviously we need to break 260 up to between, basically we'll just say $3. Above $3, extremely bullish. Above 165, bullish, right? Below $1, or below, I should say, more like $1.20, $1.25, neutral to bearish. Now, if we break all of this, obviously bearish. But in the short term, again, I'm just kind of like, I'm waiting to see how this gets developed, because we just had a major liquidation here. And statistically speaking, you don't just keep crashing unless there's some type of event that could pull us, could it make the excuse for that. But a lot of times what happens is you have a big dump, you have a very fast reaction, and then you drizzle down. And it's not this that makes people sell, it's this, because this takes a lot longer, and it gives people time to think. And when they think, they get fearful, right? It's kind of like if I'm going to hit a 50-foot dirt bike jump, if I sit there and think about it, the fear takes over, right? Fear takes over. But if you just let your mind free and just, you know what you have to do to get it done, then it's much easier that way. So speaking of jumps, check this out. That's about 47 feet right there. Anyways, pretty gnarly. I mean, I think it's, every time I try to do things like that, it freaks me out. But I don't know. Something says do it, and I just got to do it anyway. You kind of got a little bit of a pennant here, okay? And usually when you break down and you have a pennant, either you break down and finish retesting the lows down here, or if you break up, then you have 3 up, and then you would expect 3 down. But the 3 down shouldn't come back and retest the lows again. And if it does, then either way, I'm looking for 5, right? So you get 3 up, 3 down, and then you want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this whole thing becomes 3, right? And then maybe you flag out and then continue. So definitely got some work to do, but let's zoom in and see anything. So just in the last 30 minutes, you got a little bit of a pump here from nothing significant, and it's going to be short-lived. But what I like here is this 3-wave move here, or basically you got this 3-wave move here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe the low was in. Do we have divergence? No. Kind of looks like you're bottlenecking a little bit here. So I'd want to see it finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have 3 up. So you're A, you're B, and then you're C. Right? And A, B, and C. So you have 3 up, and then you can get 3 down, right? And then you can move much higher. So definitely. And this is goes for all the coins, right? Not just Theta, but a lot of them. So we'll check them all out. But if we look at just average prices here, I mean, you can see Theta's flat, Monero's up 2%, Bitcoin's flat, Jupiter's down 7%, H bar, XRP 3.5, 2.5%. So ADA's up almost 4%, so that's pretty good. Ethereum 3%. And I kind of closed my long on ETH just for safety reasons. But like if we look at ETH for a minute, you could see how we channel down and now we're channeling up. So there's two ways it can happen. Number one, you get 1 2 1 2 and then you get corrective and then you just pop the high and then you flag out later on or get 3 down later on. Or what's more probable or what's more common is you get this channel down, you get this channel up, and then maybe you get another spike, whatever, but basically you come back down and you get 3 waves. And you could see this big wick right here. You cut it in half right there, and that's a lot of times where you go. And you see the bottom right here, people will go extremely short right there. So you come down, you test it, you break it, everybody goes short, and then that's when the whales go. So you get a 3-wave move down. And then you start going up. Now, this move could be 3 as well. So you get 3 down, 3 up, and then a 3 back down, and then go, right? But we'll get there later on. So yeah, that's kind of Ethereum. See, that's why I don't like channels that go up. It would be better if the channel was horizontal, right? Because when you start going up, statistically, you break down, right? But once you break down, then you have your 3-wave shape. And then once you get that, then it's very likely that we should go higher. Because this wick is pretty big. And if we look at the volume, I don't have it on here. You can see we had some pretty big volume there. So, anyways, that's Ethereum. And overall, when we look at Ethereum, you still have 3 down, 3 up. And then I'm not sure if this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if it's 3 and it's finished now. So we need more structure here. Look how much structure we had back over here. Now, I don't think it's going to be that long in time, but we still need a little bit more here. So if this was like, a little bit of a 3-wave move here, maybe a little bit of move up, kind of flag out a little bit, and then pump the high, that's what I wouldn't want to see. That's beautiful right there. And then we can start heading much higher. So that's kind of the structure that I like to see. But it will take time. And then the ultimate bearish case would be this is one giant retracement, right? We have a big channel up and we're going to break down. And this whole thing's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then go. But that would take a long time. I mean, that would be devastating because that would take at least another year or 2, probably 2.5 years to recover. So anything involving Ethereum, like Matic, Polygon is associated with Ethereum. Anything associated with Ethereum isn't doing too good, put it mildly. So, but I do like this consolidation here. So you see how we were going up, but the up turned into sideways. And we officially have 1, 2, 3 points. 1, 2, 3 points. So we have 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. That is exactly what you want in a range. And the most important part is we're holding this part right here. This is the most important part for Ethereum to hold, because that's the halfway point, right? So you have the bottom, you have the top, and you have the middle. Up here, you're bullish. Down here, you're bearish. So we should technically be bullish right now. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and give it some time. But that's ETH. What about anything else here? All right, so let's talk about XRP now. You could see right here, look at this big volume spike in volume, right? So that actually marked the top. And then you had a big volume spike here that could potentially mark the low, right? So I don't need that on, but all right. So we're looking at this, as you guys know, as a flat, as an expanded flat, A, B, C. So we have a 1, flag out for a 2, pump up for a 3, and then get an expanded flat for a 4. And now we're expecting a 5. And that fifth wave should go up to 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9, 10, $11. We'll see. So yeah, that's basically the whole chart there. But when we zoom in, this is where it gets interesting, because unlike many of the other coins, XRP actually built a base here and it broke out, and now it's flagging out. So either we're going to come down and we're going to back test and go up, or we're going to break this flag to the upside and then basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, and then get a big ABC down, then coming back down to back test it or retesting some of these lows, and then continuing higher. So that's exactly how I see it playing out. If we take a downward resistance line from here, that's kind of where I'd expect. So if we break that line, then, it could be pretty bullish. But I would think 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we come up here and hit 5. Now if we break it, and then we come down and we retest it, we might not have to come back down here. So we'll see. We'll see. These are just ideas. Nobody knows exactly how it's going to play out, but based on previous times and structures we've seen, that's usually what happens, or to some extent. But what we could see also is kind of like a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. Let's get a breakout. Let's see. All right, let's zoom in here. So I don't really like this structure because it's too 1, 2-y. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So it could be like a falling wedge, and you break out, you hit the top, you get 5, you're A, you come up, you get a B, and then you come down later on, get a C, and back test this level. So it would look like A, B, and then C. Get down here. And then continue higher. So, you know what I mean? So you get like 3 up, and then you would get 3 down, and then you get 5 up. So, yeah, I just, I don't see anything special. I don't think this week's going to be that special, but we'll see. This week is all about building bases and building structure. Now, we could see a big breakout in XRP. If this is ready to go, if this is cocking back, we could, we could get a big pump out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and get a big spike out of here. And if we take that high there, then I'd see like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd see a three-way pullback here. Maybe retesting some of this area. And then pushing much higher. So how much higher, you ask? Well, we could see it all the way up to like $9. 1, 2, 3, get a big push up, and yeah, it could get crazy. And it could happen this week. I just don't think so. I don't think the rest of the market's ready yet. I do like, let me see the 4-hour. I do like that. Let me see. Do we have any sequential? Whoa, that's kind of interesting. We almost had a 9 here. You could see we landed on an 8. And not only it was an 8, but it was a doji 8. And not only it was a doji 8, but that doji, you could see we had a base here, and we took the liquidity in that base below it, and then we shot back up. So yeah, if we zoom in, maybe that was a little bit too much zoomed in. It's nothing special because I keep seeing like a big move down, three-way pullback, big move down, three-way pullback, big move down, three-way pullback. So in order to stop that, we need to go sideways and then push higher. So yeah, it's going to take time. But all in all, when we look at the whole picture here for XRP, it looks really, really good. Especially the test of the bull market support band. So if we look here, and let's take, we can see we perfectly nailed it on that liquidation event. And that's exactly what we wanted. So we had our three-way pullback with a big liquidation, plus it hit the bull market support band and it tested it. So as long as we stay above the bull market support band, which is currently at, say, $2, then I'd say we're doing pretty dang good. Otherwise, I'm looking at this being exactly the same as what happened over here, right? So a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off, point, break, waiting for the break. So very exciting to see it super, super close here. So yeah, if there's any coin I'd hold right now, it would be XRP, because of how close it is to actually giving us a big move, as opposed to something like Filecoin, where it's dead in the water. But that doesn't mean it's not an incredible opportunity. I think XRP is exciting because it's about to hopefully break out. I don't want to jinx it and say it will and it doesn't, but it looks really good. But then you look at something like Filecoin, where it's also good in a different way, because it's basically at all-time lows down here. It's really, really dead in the water. So this could be an incredible opportunity for the long term. It's going to take a longer time to get back up here, let alone breaking the top, right? So it's probably going to take years before we break this top. But you could still get a big 10x move just going into a retrace. Question is, when's that going to happen? Well, I want to see some structure down here. I want to see it pump back up here. I want to see it flag out, and then I want to see it finally break this range. And then once we break this range right here, this is where I would be very excited. The way I'm excited for XRP, I would be excited for Filecoin if we were right here. So you have same thing right there. You got point, point, point. Draw that line right there. So if we come up here and we break this area right around, what is that, like $10, $9 or $10, that's where it's going to be exciting right here. But we have to get there, and it's going to take time to get there because we have to get through the retrace levels. So all right, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's interesting because it's kind of doing, I think it's kind of doing something like this, like an A, B, C. And here's actually a screenshot of Blockchain Backer's video today, and I thought it was really good, so I wanted to share it. Shout out to him, but man, this is a good fractal. I like it here. You could see right here, right there, right? We came up, and I actually recorded a video for someone, but listen to this. Hey, check out this Bitcoin fractal back over here. You could see we came up and we had this big expanded flat. Same thing here, we have this big expanded flat and kind of played around a little bit, hit the low, same thing over here. And then what did we do? Well, we came up and we kind of pulled back a little bit, came up, pulled back, came up, had an ABC, came up, had an ABC right at the top of that flat. And then we sort of pushed higher and then we flagged out. Same thing here, we pushed higher and now potentially we're flagging out here. And then bam, hit the high, bam, hit the high, and then it's over. But if that's the case, we should see Bitcoin dominance rise in this moment, and then we should see an alt season maybe if we get more distribution up here. That would be interesting to see. If you look at this correction here, we have an A, a B, and a C, kind of like a flat here, just testing the range, boom, 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 go. Well, that could potentially be what we're doing here too. Boom, 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 A, B, C, testing the range, right? Maybe we got to hit the low a little bit more, come down here, maybe even tag a liquidity grab and then go. So yeah, I think that's a good idea here. Just again, if you look at this, basically we're just testing this range in here. So, and if we look a little bit closer, you could potentially make that argument for this one, although it definitely is more bearish looking. We're still looking for a three-way move here. So once we get that 3, then we want to see a move up. And based on that move up, do we break the high or do we just go up in 3 and then continue down? That's what we're going to wait and see. Or there's a lot of liquidity under here, right? Look how many points are at the bottom versus the top. I mean, you got all of this, boom, 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 boom. Many points versus just 2 up here. So it's being tested way more down here. And the more you test it, the weaker it gets. So we might have to break it, right? So if I take a line here, a couple of them, there we go. And you can see the bull market support band is literally right under the line, right? So if we have to come down and break all of this liquidity and test the bull market support band before going up A, B, C, that would be interesting. I think that would work out nicely. But if we come down and then we come back up and then we get rejected and then we keep going down, that's going to be a different story, right? So we'll have to wait and see how that plays. Monero is actually still blowing my mind away every single day. It is just relentless. And I've been talking about Monero for quite some time now. And I've basically been saying, man, this thing looks weird. It looks interesting. It looks completely different than every other chart I've ever seen. And that is attractive because XRP also was giving me the same type of look, right? It was XRP was printing candles no other chart would. Back when it was really boring and everybody was giving up on it. But I said it looks completely different. It looks, it's getting primed. So, anyways, we could see Monero, when we zoom out here and we look at it compared to, XRP here, you could see that really bullish accumulation zone. Same thing here. This accumulation zone actually looks more bullish than this one did, to be honest. So you have like a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, rise, crash, reaccumulation, sideways. You got the breakout. That's what I'm waiting for Monero. So to me, definitely Monero is one of my top 3 altcoins right now as we speak. Now that could change later, but right now, and then probably the honorable mentions would be ADA, HBAR, Algo, XLM. I think those 4, and then also put THETA in there. Those 5 are like the top 5 warriors, right? And then the top 3 would probably be XRP and Monero. And the other one, I'm going to hold off on that one for now. And we'll come back to it. So we have this range. Again, we broke the range. We came down, we retested it, and now we're creeping. But what I really want to explain here is we just made history, guys. Look at this. We just had the highest weekly close in over 2 years. Okay? So the last time we had a candle this high that closed, I mean, look at the rest of the market. We just had the biggest liquidation event in crypto history, right? And all these coins got destroyed. Like, look at, I don't know, let's look at Chainlink for a minute. You can see Chainlink came all the way down. But it's actually very bullish because you have a 3-wave move. But still, you started from here and you came all the way down, right? Now, if we look at SHIB, it's even worse. Look at that. We came all the way down. That's a big drop. Look at the drop. Okay, now go back and look at Monero. Where's the drop? I don't see any drop. All I see is it going up. So that's interesting to me very much. And not only that, but you see this candle right here, that was our weekly candle that closed yesterday. And we closed above the swing high. And it was the highest close in over 2 years. Meanwhile, you have other coins that are completely getting obliterated to the downside. So to me, that is very odd. Like you would think they would all be dead or they would all be bullish, but no. So something's cooking with Monero. I don't know what it is, but all I know is Monero is a privacy coin, right? So if you look at Elon Musk and you look at what he's doing, Google search for lawyers have went up like 300% in Washington D.C. and BleachBit and erasing data and things like that. So that means the criminals are getting caught. What if that's why Monero's going up, because they're moving cash around and they don't want to use Bitcoin or XRP or cash or the bank or the Swift system, right? So what if they're using Monero? Because I can't figure out, like, why would Monero look so bullish, have a bullish posture? Maybe it's the deep state. I don't know. Um, who knows who knows the real reason, but it definitely looks really interesting to me. So there's one thing though, that there's a problem. There's one problem, and that is the small time frames. The big question that I have is right here. Right here. This move up here. That's a channel, right? So you have a move down and you have a move up. The big question is, do we get another move down? And that could be a big A, B, C, a big flat here, right? So you had 3 up, and then you get 3 down, come back down and retest the lows down in here, build a base, and then go up. That's the big question. I don't know. That's the tough one. But here's the cool part. In my opinion, it could already be finished. The reason why is because look at the move here. We had a big drop down, and that could be a running flat. And if you see where that wick came to, it actually came and it tested the bottom here, all the way down here. So there's a good argument to say that the flat was done. So we have 3, right? And then we have 3 up. There's your flat. And then you have 3 back down. Boom. So 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down. Meaning this whole thing is a 3-wave move, and it already is a flat, and it's finished. It's a running flat. And then if you look at this area right here, you could see we came down, we had a bottom, came all the way back up, came all the way back down. We had another bottom, we had a double bottom, and it was a higher low. And then we came all the way back up again. So it was pushing it down, coming back up, pushing it down, coming all the way back up. And then we went flat in here, and then we popped the high, and now we're going flat again. So I don't know, man. I think it looks pretty bullish to me. I'm probably one of the very, 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 like a fraction of a percent of the people that are talking about Monero right now on YouTube. Especially going back in time here. I think I started talking about it right in here when I started seeing this 3-way move in here. Definitely in here. So people who were listening here, maybe they took a little bit of consideration to look at it for themselves to make their own decision. Maybe, hey, maybe I want a piece of this. And if they did, they're doing pretty damn good, because it's basically up, not a whole lot, but when you compare it to the rest of the market, it's doing pretty good. You're up about 60% there, right? Now, if I come back down to, like, let's put on, let's go here. And let's go XMRUSD. And we'll go there. New price scale. There we go. Let me just kind of do that. So you could see right here, you see how this is coming down, but this is coming up. Now, to be fair, H-bar had a massive breakout, so it deserves to have a cool-off, where Monero's kind of been building and building and building and building and building, and it looks like it's about to have that big break. So we'll see. Now you compare that to like Filecoin, and you got this like head and shoulders here. It's down at the lows. It's kind of weak right now versus the double bottom. So you got a double bottom, boom, boom, blast off. Come down, double bottom, and now you're kind of revving up 1, 2, 1, 2. You're breaking the range. You're moving higher, and this is moving lower. So we have to identify that. And I'm not sure many people are. So I don't see, like, for example, if we did something like this for Bitcoin here, right? And let me zoom in. You could see Bitcoin right there. And if we shot to the upside and we had that ending phase for Bitcoin, I still don't think there's enough time for something like a Filecoin to go out and have a complete bull cycle above the all-time high. Right. What's more likely is a rise crash. We go out to a retrace, we come down in reaccumulation, and then we go later on. So it would take another cycle to really get going because it had a big cycle back in 21. So Litecoin is also in a similar category like Monero because of its base in here, and it broke out and now it's kind of retesting it in here. So Litecoin and Monero are kind of in the same boat as far as how their posture looks. Now, when you look at Link, HBAR, ADA, Algo, they're all kind of in their own category where they have a nice pump, right? And then they have a three-way pullback. Same thing, I think, with XLM. Beautiful. Look at that. Major pump, three-way pullback. Same thing with Algo. Major pump, three-wave pullback. So very bullish, very bullish. Now we'll talk about that. So Algo already came back to the lows here pretty much. I might pick some Algo up here. Oh, I missed a low there. Dang it. We came down, we flushed the low. And that was a nice buy right there if anybody caught that. Yeah, because look, you got a 5-wave move. Look at, you got a 3-wave move. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And do we have divergence? Yes, we do. Look at that. Bullish divergence between the third and the fifth. So could it be done? Because again, we have this channel down, and then we channel up, and then we channel back down. And then that gives you the 3-wave shape. And then if you look at it from a base, boom, 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 you would expect then to go up, right? Or if we have 3 down, maybe you get 3 up and then 3 back down later and then go up. I mean, it really depends how complex the range is going to get. But that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Now, worst case, obviously breaking the low, but for me, I think, this could be like a 1, 2. If it really wanted to be bearish, 3, 4, and then 5, and where we retest this wick 50%. And basically, we just go a little bit lower, taking this low out, getting everybody super bearish, right? A, B, C, take the low, everybody goes short, and then that's where we kind of go back up. So we'll see how that plays out. Same thing, XLM looks a little different. It doesn't quite have the shape, but it's got more wiggle room, so that's good. Litecoin is really good because Litecoin's back at the swing high. Litecoin had its 3-wave move. It came up. Most of the coins are down here. All of the coins are down here. Litecoin's way at the top again. It's actually doing better than XRP. XRP is actually right around there. Right around here somewhere. So looks like we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now maybe we flag out in here and then go. that's what I really want to see for Litecoin. Litecoin looks perfect. I mean, you got 3 down, you got 3 up, and you got 3 back down. You got a beautiful 3-wave move. You got a 5-wave impulse off the low. So what now? We want to see a flag, an ABC, and then a breakout. If we get that, guys, that will be perfection. So, Matic, do you believe in Matic? I think Matic is, I don't know. I think you need more of a 3-wave shape here. So, SHIB. Yeah, it's just not really interesting. Not really interesting. I mean, they're all pretty much in a similar situation. Now, this one looks okay here. You kind of got this. It looks more proportional. You know, you're kind of flagging out a little bit. Kind of got the cup and then the swing. You know, the handle. Maybe we could pop the high. But yeah, it needs work. But here's my main point. To me, this is accumulation. This is dollar cost averaging. This is buying, 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 buying. This is buying the dip, right? Remember why you're in crypto in the first place. Because we have a central bank who, throughout history, back in the Roman times, they print money out of nothing, right? All fiat currencies go to zero. Okay? So if you look at Trump, if you look at his sons, what are they doing? They're building DeFi platforms. They're positioning themselves around crypto. If you look at blockchain technology, and if you look at how desperate we need it, because the banking system, the SWIFT system, the debt system, the bonds, all of it's going to be eventually tokenized, and that way we can exchange value much more easily, and it frees up so much stuff. But essentially, crypto is a way to protect your purchasing power from rising inflation. So if you take the entire crypto market cap from where it was to where it is now, I mean, it's insane, right? So when in doubt, zoom out, all right? So back in 2015, $100 can buy you X amount of eggs, right? Now in 2025, $100 can buy you probably way less than that. But look, if you had that same $100 in cash, you would have significantly less here. But if you had that same $100 in crypto, you would have an enormous amount of money. Just 65, basically 50, 100,000% more than what you would have had, right? So the trend is going to continue that way over time, right? I mean, if you look at 2031, 2033, I mean, this thing's going to have a bear market, but I think it's eventually going to go up. It's going to keep going up because the dollar is going to keep going down, right? So anytime you get these big liquidations, that's like a golden opportunity. Look at that wick, guys. I mean, look at this thing. This is a monster wick here. And you got the 3-way pullback. To me, this is just opportunity for the future. Another reason why is because if you look at just ADA, for example, you kind of got this accumulation cylinder like Livermore or something. I think this name is Livermore. Your accumulation cylinder here. So that's good. It's so yeah, you're building your base. The debt is continuing to rise. The dollar is continuing to fall. Countries are buying gold. They're dumping treasuries. You got the BRICS nations. I mean, you got crypto regulation. I mean, there's so many things that tell me buy crypto and just hold it. And for me, I've been buying crypto since 2017. But back then, I downloaded Coinbase. I had 3 coins. I could buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. That's it. So I don't know, and then it just morphed. Once I felt the dopamine the serotonin in my brain when I made money for the first time. And I'm like, whoa, I can really make something. And I think everyone has that experience. When you buy crypto and maybe you're in a bear market and it takes a long time, but eventually everybody wins in crypto. Eventually. Now, it depends if they take profit or not, or if they, because most people feel like they lose in crypto, but that's because, time hasn't passed. You haven't had enough time, right? If you look at Warren Buffett, his quote is this: the market is a device that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. So are you impatient or are you patient? We don't have anything to lose except for time, right? Now, you got to pick the right coins, right? You got to, you can't be in some random meme coin and they get rug pulled and then, yeah, you have everything to lose. But if you stick with utility and you stick with a strategy and you just, you get these big liquidations, you buy the dip. Get a big liquidation, you buy the dip. Get a big liquidation, you buy the dip. You pump, you pump, you pump. You get another big liquidation like we just had, you buy the dip. And then you get your higher lows and eventually we get going here. It might take years. But what else are you going to do? The time is going to pass regardless if you're in crypto or not. So people, I don't want to wait that long. But you're going to have to wait regardless. I mean, that time is going to pass no matter if you're in it or if you're out of it. So you might as well be in it, in my opinion. And that opinion isn't advice. It's not financial advice, but that's the way I see it. Because I'm thinking like, okay, it's 2018, 2019. I'm just going to work at my job as maintenance. I worked as a custodian. I did maintenance. I did painting. I did some electrical stuff. I mean, I did a lot of stuff. But anyway, just for different schools and things. But that's pretty much what I did. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to work here. And then COVID hit. And then basically they sent me home. But luckily I got paid. And that was in 2020. And that's when I really learned how to day trade, right? But basically 2017, 2018, 2019, I was kind of learning the charts, kind of reading them, kind of getting a feel for it. And then once COVID hit, then I could really pay attention. And that's when we had our big bull run here. And so I've been through, a half a bull run, a full bear market, a full bear run, a full bull run, and a full bear market. So, and an accumulation. So, my thinking was, well, I'm just going to work at my job. I'm going to get my paycheck. Okay. And I'm going to take all the money I can save possibly. And that's the whole thing. If you want to be rich, you could be a millionaire. You could be a millionaire. Here's how you do it. You live as cheaply as possible. And that takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice. Live cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. Like my coworker, he could have easily been at the same level as me, maybe even more. He could have easily been, but he chose to buy a house. He chose to go on an expensive honeymoon. He chose to have an expensive wedding. He chose to move out of his parents' house. And all of that's going to cost a lot of money. And all of that money you put into that, you could have put into crypto. And then you just sacrifice and you basically, you have to just deal with it, for a while. For me, like if I can live with my parents and have little to no rent, that's what you want to do. And then you work your job, live as cheap as possible, maybe with your parents. Maybe people can't stand it, but you know what? Sacrifice, you got to do what you got to do, right? Sleep on the couch, deal with it. It might take years. Look at people who built major companies like Mark Cuban. He slept on his friend's couch building his internet company and he made massive sacrifices. And that's kind of what it takes. And as an investor, you know, there's really not much options unless you have an MBA, a business, a lawyer, a doctor. I mean, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to be a rapper or a celebrity or an actor, right? Maybe you could, but eventually, it's just statistically almost impossible. So how can an average person like me or you become extremely rich? Number one, live cheap as possible. Number two, work at a job and just keep working. Work, 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 work. Get your paycheck. Don't go and don't go to Ticketmaster and go to a concert. Don't go to the movies on Friday night. Don't go out and eat Red Lobster. Don't go on Amazon and buy a bunch of crap. You just freaking saved your money, dude. Just save it as much as you can. And then at the end of the week, like you got your rent, you got your cell phone bill, you got your car payment. And that's another thing. Try to eliminate all your debt. A lot of people have student loan debt, they have a car payment, they have a rent. You got to try to get rid of that stuff. I don't know how you got to do it. Maybe you live with a friend. You got to feel pain in order to feel pleasure. That's just the way it goes. So that's what I did. I lived as cheap as I possibly could for a long time. And that allowed me to buy a house, right? Because I didn't look at the house like, oh, it's taking away from me buying crypto. I looked at it like, oh, I'm putting equity in a house that I can take out later and reinvest into crypto. But that's another video. But yeah. And then, again, you get your paycheck every 2 weeks and you buy crypto, stack, stack, stack. Dollar cost average, buy, 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 buy. Right? It doesn't matter if you put $100 or $200 in and then a week later it crashes 30%. Oh, well, because eventually it will go back up. That's what I did with XRP for years. Now, to me, this is a golden opportunity. Would I be going aggressively in XRP right now? Probably not as aggressive, but there's a lot of other coins out there like VChain or Chainlink or ADA or HBAR or XLM, Theta Fuel, definitely a big one. Matic even. Those are the kind of coins that I like. And you keep stacking those and live as cheap as possible, eliminate your debt, then over time, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to even take 6 months. The average person, maybe you make $15 an hour, maybe you make $20 an hour, maybe you make $50 an hour. I don't know. But whatever it is, that's what you're working with. For me, I started out when I was 21 making $9.50, and then I moved up to $12, and then I got a new job and I made $15, and then I stayed at that job until I made $20, and then I made $20 for like 2 years, and then I quit my job. So I don't work anymore. I don't work at a job because I day trade. I haven't worked at a job in over 3 years, and the only way I could do that is with crypto. So crypto saved my life. So basically, you could say, "Oh, you're living the dream." Well, it is great not having to wake up in the morning on a Monday morning and go to work. Oh man, I hated that. I had to get up early because I had to drive down the Cajon Pass, which is like an hour drive. And then when you add traffic, it sucked. So getting up at 5 in the morning, but that's the sacrifice that I made for many years. For over 10 years, I did that. And basically, I took all my money. I didn't go out and vacation. I didn't travel. I didn't go to concerts. I didn't go to parties. I didn't go out and eat expensive food, And my wife, you want to maintain a relationship. You don't want to be completely boring, right? But at the same time, you sacrifice now so you can reap the rewards later on. So if I can do it, a custodian who made $15, $20 an hour could do it. You could do it too. Now, you can say, well, I'm too late because the cycle's already here. No, no, no. There's going to be many cycles, guys. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of cycles. And not only that, we're still early. We're so early. We don't even have regulations yet. We don't even have an XRP ETF. We don't even have, you know, Trump transitioning our economic system yet. And that could take a couple years, right? If you do what I just said for 1 year and let's say you buy, a couple $100 worth of crypto every month or every couple of weeks, eventually in 12 months to 2 years, you're going to have a big bag, and don't sell it, right? And it's going to feel terrible at times because you're going to be buying it. Maybe you bought it for 6 months and then all of a sudden that whole 6 months is now underwater. Well, who cares? Because eventually it's got to go back. And if you control that emotion, then you'll be fine. So that's what I had to teach myself in 2018, 2019, 2020 is just deal with it, And when prices came down, I actually got excited because then I got more bang for my buck, because I work hard for my money, right? I have to spend gas, insurance, all these things that I hated doing, taxes, right? So when I got cheap crypto, I felt like I was getting a good deal because I wasn't looking at it like, oh, in next week or next week. For me, I wanted the price to keep going down. Why? Because it bought me time, right? Most people, they put a couple $100 in and they want to be millionaires. That doesn't work that way. You want time, right? Let me go back to XRP here. If you look at XRP, look how long it took in here to break out, right? Most people wanted to go. Okay, I'll give you a really good example. Let's say you have one guy who bought $1,000 right here. Well, and then he bought it and then it came down and he sold it because he got scared, right? Versus another guy who bought $1,000 and he wanted it to moon, but it didn't. So then it came up, bought another 1,000, 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 right? So because why? Because the more you work, the more paychecks you get, right? You can only get so many paychecks in a month. Most people get 2 paychecks a month, right? So if you get 2 paychecks a month, then you're going to need a lot of paychecks, right? So that you can buy as much crypto as possible, right? So if XRP would have blasted off right here, you would have only had $1,000. If it would have blasted off here, you would only have 2. But since it took its sweet time, now you have $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6,000 worth of XRP, right? Because it took so long. That's what you want. If you have, now everybody's different, everybody's idea of wealth is different. But if you have a guy named Tom and he has $100,000 worth of XRP or $100,000 worth of crypto, and he feels like that's enough, then great. Then you don't have to buy anymore, just hodl, right? Or if you have somebody who only has a couple $1,000s worth of crypto and their whole idea is like, well, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be retired. Well, that's going to be a lot of work. It's going to take a long time for you to get to that level. The best way to do it is to just keep working, stacking those checks, stacking crypto, and buying the dips. And just do that year after year after year. Because you go, oh, well, it's going to take too long. It's going to take 3-4 years. It's going to take 5 years. It doesn't matter. The time's going to pass regardless. 5 years is going to go by no matter what happens. If you're dead, 5 years is going to go by. If you're married, 5 years is going to go by. If you're in crypto, 5 years is going to go by. If you're not in crypto, the 5 years is going to go by. It doesn't matter what you do, where you are, who you are, that time is going to pass no matter what. So you might as well be in crypto. That way, once it eventually does pass in 5 years, you could be a millionaire. If you buy crypto with your paycheck every single time you get paid. Now, some people can only save $10 a month. Some people are borrowing. Some people can't save any money. Now, this only applies to people who can save money, right? You don't want to blow through your whole savings. You don't want to put all your money into it, right? You want to be responsible, but at the same time, you want to be more aggressive if you want it done faster, right? So, yes, it's very scary because you're basically putting all your blood, sweat, and tears, right? All your work into crypto. And if it doesn't work out, then, it's not going to work out. But for me, that's why you have to have concrete conviction. And that's why XRP was my biggest holding, because I had major conviction in XRP. And guess what? I was doing this with Joe Biden, with Gary Gensler, with an XRP lawsuit, and I still had my conviction. That's how much guts it took, right? Because Gary Gensler could have pulled the rug on XRP, right? It could have been a disaster. So, but now that we have Trump, and now that the future is much brighter, now if I was working my job, I would feel so much more excited about investing, because I would go on Coinbase. I would, and if you don't want to pay the membership, get Coinbase One. It's $30 a month, right? I'm not affiliated or nothing, but you pay $30 a month for Coinbase One and you get no fees at all. So you could buy as much as you want, sell as much as you want. Now, if you're only buying $50 or $60 a month, it might not be worth it, right? But when you go to cash out, right? If you're going to cash out a lot of money on Coinbase, get Coinbase One so you don't have to deal with those fees, right? Or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of my rant there. Again, people are impatient, but at the same time, why are you in a hurry? Don't you want your bag to be bigger? Everybody thinks that they want their bag to be bigger. A lot of people think that, oh, my bags are packed, I'm good. No, you don't have enough. I don't have enough. Nobody has enough, right? You think Michael Saylor has enough? He doesn't have enough, right? Well, what's enough? Enough is when you really don't care anymore, right? You don't care if you have more or less or whatever. But most people do care, right? So if you want the bull market to hurry up, ask yourself, are you really, really, really ready? Or could you use an extra 6 months? Could you use an extra year? Could you use an extra couple months, right? Because think about it. I'll give you an example. If XRP breaks out today, well, you missed it. Or you didn't miss it, but that's the bag you have, and that's what you have to deal with. So if you have 1,000 XRP, that's what you get. But if XRP goes sideways for 3 months, let's say it's 3 long months. Well, guess what? That's 2, 4, 6. Oh, what is it? Wait, no, wait. 2, 4. Yeah, 6. That's 6 paychecks, right? You get 6 paychecks if you get paid bi-weekly, which most people do. You get 6 paychecks in 3 months. So that would be 6 paychecks, that not your whole paycheck, right? Because you got to live, you got to eat, you got to rent, you got to, expenses. But whatever you have left over, put it into crypto. And that would be 6 paychecks worth of savings that would go into crypto. Then XRP breaks out. Well, guess what? This person made only $1,000. This person made $5,000, right? So time, that's why they say time equals money. That's where it came from. That's exactly where time equals money came from, right? Or at least in my world. So don't be in a hurry if your bags aren't packed. Again, most people listening to this have a job and you continue to work your job. And instead of going out buying cars and toys and concerts, don't do that. Save your money and put it all into crypto. Then when you look back in 10 years, you'll be perfect. Then you can go to any concert you want. Then you could travel the world. You could buy your dream car, your dream house, whatever. Bite the bullet now so you can reap the rewards later, right? When people get out of high school, they just want to blow their money. They want to have a good time. They don't want to think about responsibilities, right? Like my friend, my coworker, he didn't want to go. I said, dude, because he was living with his parents, just stay there. He goes, no, I don't want to live with my parents. Because I have a girlfriend now and I want to be, I want to live in an expensive condo. Why? Why would you do that? If he would have just stayed with his parents for the last 2 years and then moved out, he could have stacked so much crypto. It would be unbelievable. Right? But he chose not to. And that's the difference between somebody like me versus somebody like him, right? Because before this, I was living with my dad until I was 21. That's when I bought my house. So I was stacking, right? But I wasn't really buying crypto. I was more so buying, I was trying to buy a house. But once I had my house, right, I had a mortgage payment, but I had my wife to help me, right? We split everything, pretty much. And that allowed me to have more spending money at the end of the month, which allowed me to buy more crypto, which allowed me to be where I am now. So, and I'm not saying this because I'm a millionaire. I didn't retire because I'm rich, right? I retired from my job because I can trade, right? I could be self-sufficient without a job. And it was very hard because I had benefits. I had health insurance. I had dental insurance. I had a 401k. I had, everything was set up for me for the longevity of the career, which is like maintenance and stuff like that. But I had to come to the conclusion, well, do I want to keep working? Do I want to walk away from $25 an hour? Do I want to walk away from health insurance, right? And I did. I made the choice to do that. And it was very scary, right? But I had to keep doing it. So now I'm just kind of trading and just trying to earn money and still stacking crypto whenever I can, right? Because for me, you can't be an investor only because you need today money, right? So if you're trading, you need today money, right? So that you can pay your stuff. You need to make money today, right? Versus an investor who has a job, it's much easier if you have a job, way easier if you have a job, because then you could just, earn money through your job and then stack crypto. So anyways, I've ranted on long enough. I think you guys get the idea, right? Just stay laser focused. Crypto is the vehicle that could make you rich. I'm telling you, it's very, very possible. But it's going to take a long time. If you're barely starting out and you just got into crypto last month or this year or within the last year, and you've accumulated $10,000, great, that's perfect. That's what you want to do. But just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And eventually you're going to have a big fat bag and you're going to be like, whoa, don't look at the dollars. Don't look at, oh, my portfolio is down today. No, your portfolio never changed, right? If you have 50,000 coins at $100, great. But now the market is down But guess what? You still have 50,000 coins. The difference is the value that it's based in dollars went down. You still have the same amount of coins. Okay? So look at it in Satoshis, look at it in coins, look at it in XRP, look at it like that, right? Don't look at it like, oh, my portfolio was $9,000. Now it's only $6,000. I lost a lot of money. No, well, yeah, it's all unrealized, right? It's all unrealized at the end of the day. So, but don't look at it like that. Look at it like I have 10,000 coins. Now I have 10,200 coins. And a couple of weeks, I'm going to have 10,600 coins. Because it's all about what, guys? It's all about the targets, right? So when we pull on the Fibonacci, all of this down here is just noise, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean anything. What matters is once we break out, because going for 9, 10, 11, 12, $13, that's the target, right? So accumulating all through here, year after year after year after year. Well, it's actually in 2 years, but through here and through here, that was a good amount of time, right? Working a job, getting your paycheck, buying crypto. Every single opportunity I had, every extra dollar I had, every extra penny I had, I put it into crypto, mainly XRP. Because I knew if I can get to X amount of coins, right? Let's say I had 100,000 XRP. I'm not going to tell you the real number, but let's just say that. I knew if I can get to XRP to get to a $10, that would be $1 million. That would be life changing. Now, I don't have $1 million yet, but hopefully if we get a big breakout, it could do that. And here's the thing. Let's say you do get $1 million. Guess what? You're not rich. You're still broke. Okay? $1 million is a lot of money, but it goes quickly. What can you do with $1 million? There's really not much you can do, right? There's three things you can do. You can buy a car, you can buy a house, or you can invest it, right? Because number one, you got to live off of it, right? So how much money? And this is what I'm going to go through in a members video. Is you want to calculate how much expenses you use a year, right? How much you're able to invest in 1 year, right? And then have a long-term goal. What would that be in 5 to 10 years, right? What will that look like? And then you have to ask yourself, well, how much money do I need a year to survive, right? Because if you're making $15 or $20 an hour, you're probably making between $25 and $35 to $40,000 a year, maybe up to $50,000 to $60,000 a year for some people, right? Most people make less than $50K a year. Okay, so if you figure out how much you need a year to survive, well, guess what? If you had $1 million and you used $50,000 a year, well, guess what? You have 20 years to live off that. But who in their right mind would do that? Because you basically work your life, right? And then you quit your job. Oh, because I have $1 million now and I'm just going to live off that. Well, guess what? That $1 million is going to run out in 20 years. Not even counting inflation, right? Because it's going to probably be way, way less than that. You can say 20 years, that's a long time, but it'd probably be way less than that, right? So people, you got to remove those limitations. Everybody has limitations. Oh, I can't do that. I'll never be there. There's no way I can get to that amount. You got to remove those limitations away from your head, right? And it's just like Rocky, man. When he's going to go training against the Russian, he woke up 5 o'clock in the morning, train all day. That's the mentality you need, right? And maybe, you go to work, maybe you get a raise, right? Show your boss that you deserve a raise, Your boss says, well, why do you need a raise? Well, because I want to buy more crypto. So I don't have to work at this place anymore, you know? So, anyways, I'm going to be talking more about, because it's not just crypto, right? It's life. It's life. It's living, right? It's expenses. It's investing. It's how much money is coming in, how much money is coming out, how much money do I need to live for the next 50 years, right? So if I'm 30, 2 years old, and I'm probably going to live till maybe, hopefully, 80, 90, 100 years old. That's the goal. Then I'm going to need X amount of money, right? So if you want to live comfortably, right? Maybe that's 30,000 a year. Maybe that's 100,000 a year. Maybe that's 200,000 a year, right? Whatever it is, that's your number. But you want to keep your expectations realistic, but at the same time, you don't have to work at your job forever. There will be a day that you will get to retire from your job as long as you do the right thing. And to me, the only thing that I can say is, and this is not financial advice, but just continue to dollar cost average into the market. When you have these big major liquidation events, most people get scared and they run away and they quit. But that's when you strap your big boy pants on and buy the dip like a vengeance, like with a vengeance. You can say, well, I don't have any money because I already spent it on crypto. Well, that's okay. Keep earning the paycheck and keep building and building and building. And over time, it doesn't take that long. Maybe in a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, you're going to look at your portfolio and you're going to be like, whoa, I'm proud of myself because look what I did in the last 3 years. I didn't spend money on a new BMW crappy car, right? I bought a used, cheap, crappy car with crappy insurance in a crappy apartment, and I just dealt with it, right? Maybe we were living with roommates and they're noisy and they're loud and whatever, right? You just have to pay the price and you have to suffer in order to feel, in order to get as much value as you can out of crypto. Because again, crypto is the only vehicle you have and I have at a shot at becoming rich. It's not the stock market, right? It's not like the 80s and the 90s where the stock market was a big thing and people were making a lot of money. Guess what? The stock market is way overvalued. You're not going to make any money in stocks, I don't think, right? Or very little. So it's all transitioning to blockchain, to fintech, to crypto. And the number one crypto, in my opinion, is XRP. And XRP's right at the verge of doing something insane, right? Now, people say, well, what if I just take a loan out and I get 20 grand and then the price goes up and then I sell it and pay the loan off? Well, good luck with that. I really don't think you should do that because it always bites you. I don't know. I've done that one time and it was a small loan. It was only like 5 grand. I went to Wells Fargo. I said, hey, look, I want 5 grand. They gave it to me. I put it in the market. It was fine, but it ended up going lower. But I had to pay the payment, because the payment's not going to wait for you to get your money, right? The payment starts immediately. And then you have interest on top of that payment. So, it's kind of a weird thing, right? So, anyways, I think the video is long enough, guys. But yeah, these are the things that I love talking about and that's another reason I like doing this YouTube channel, because if I can change someone's life, just one person, it would be worth it, right? And I've been there, I've done that, I know what it's like, I know how how long it takes, because I've been here since 17, so what's that, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 8 years, right? Imagine working a job for 8 years. You get a paycheck, you buy crypto year after year after year after year after year after year. You know what I mean? So, well, it wasn't 8 years. It was actually 7, 6. It was actually more like 5 years because, again, I haven't been working in 3 years, but I'm still day trading and stuff like that. So, anyways, you just got to have the belief and you got to have the conviction, right? You got to believe that crypto is the future. You got to believe that blockchain is the solution. You got to believe, you got to know that the dollar is dying, that the fiat currency debt enslavement system is crashing and burning. And if you want your conviction to be as high as possible, then you need to watch this. Basically,
a counting house in
it's
1743.
called the Money Master.
And over the door, he placed a sign depicting a Roman eagle on a red shield. The shop became known.
It is long. It might be even a little bit boring at times, but it's really, really, really interesting. And if you know how, because at the end of the day, the whole world has an evil force, and it doesn't matter if it's the border or taxes or crime or war in Ukraine or the deep state or corruption or this or that or this or that. It doesn't matter. It's all under one evil power, and that is the central bank. It's not about the government. It's not about the president. It's not about the kings, the queens, the prime ministers. No, 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 no. It's about the Rothschild central banking corrupt system that basically bred all the corruption we see. You know what Doge is? They're looking, USAID, all that stuff. That's just a little teeny tiny piece of it. But what allowed all of that corruption to flourish is the central bank in the first place because of their system. It's a monetary system that makes the elite, the 1%, get richer and the poor get much poorer. But that's why we have crypto. Now, the poor, like me and you, right, or the 99%, I'm not saying you're poor, by the way, but I'm just saying, like, we're, unless you have $20 million, or even if you had 20 million, you're not in the top 1%. In order to be in the top 1%, you got to need like $200 million. Like, you need a lot of money. So the rich get richer, the poor get more poor, right? And that's the central bank design, right? It's a centralized design. And that is the main reason that should be the fire in your stomach, the conviction in your heart to want to invest every single paycheck you get. And that's how it was for me. Every time I got paid on the 15th and the 30th of every month. Every time I got paid, I was so happy because I paid my rent, I paid my bills, I paid my whatever, my car's paid off. So I don't have to worry about that. And I put it all into crypto. And I'll eat a freaking Hot Pocket. Or I'll eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Whatever. The point is, I had that extra. Because think about it. If I went to buy a pizza and that pizza cost $10, well, guess what? That's $10 that's not in XRP. And guess what? That $10 XRP could be a $500 pizza in the future. Think about that for a minute. If I buy $10 worth of XRP at 30 cents, okay, and then XRP one day is at $50, well, guess what? That $10 is now worth $500. I think that's the right math. I could be totally wrong on the math, but it's a lot of money. It could be even more. So that's the way I thought of it. Like, do I want a nice supreme $15, $20 pizza? Or because my thoughts are like, well, this pizza is really going to cost me $500. That's the thinking you need. Like, if I'm going to go out to a nice restaurant and spend $50 or $100, that $50 to $100 is really like $1,000. Because if you think about it, if you take $100 and you put it into Filecoin, and then we go to the retrace levels, guess what? That's 1,000%. That's a 10x move. If you take $100 and you go 10x, that's $1,000. Well, guess what? Your expensive dinner just cost you $1,000. So, do you really want to go out in a nice dinner for $1,000? Hell no. Now, I'm not saying live like a peasant, right? You still want to live life. You still want to be happy. You still want to do things. It's healthy for the brain. It's healthy for your relationships and things like that. But what I'm saying is you got to be more strict with stuff like that. That's the way you do it. So, anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Remember, none of this is financial advice. It's just my opinion. My opinion means nothing, right? Or it could mean something. I don't know. It all depends how you look at it. But yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.